Welcome to today's practice. Hopefully this will be helpful for you if you have just finished going for a run or a walk, or even if you're just simply looking for a lower body stretch. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin in child's pose. So come to sit back on the heels and then reach the arms gently forward. Elbows can stay bent, arms relaxed, forehead to the floor. And knees can be together or apart. We'll take a few breaths here. Inhale, go ahead and walk the hands back, lift the chest. Tuck your toes under, making sure all 10 toes are on the ground. Toe stretch, we'll stay here for a few breaths. This is good for the feet. It's really intense. Last inhale and exhale. Go ahead and release that. Sitting back onto the heels again. Walk the hands behind you and then begin to lift up the knees so that you're stretching the tops of the foot, the tops of the ankles. Continuing to take deep breaths. Last exhale and release. Make your way into a tabletop position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll flow through a few cat-cow. Inhale, lift the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Push the floor away from you. Inhale to lift the tailbone and chin. Exhale, round the back. And do this a couple more times at your own pace. Last inhale and cow. Exhale, cat. And then return to your neutral tabletop position. Send the right leg out long behind you, toes tucked under, and press the heel toward the wall behind you. Stay here for a few breaths. Last inhale. And exhale, come back to tabletop, and we'll switch sides. So left leg stretched long out behind you, toes tucked under. Press the heel toward the wall behind you. And come back to your neutral tabletop position. From here, we'll move into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes under, lift the tailbone up and back. Pedaling out the feet here. Maybe rock the hips from side to side. Come back to center, take a breath. And then on your inhale, begin to walk the feet between the hands. Feet are hip width apart, bend the knees as much as needed, and come into your forward fold. Taking a couple of breaths here. Maybe shake the head and neck out just slowly and gently. On your next inhale, slowly roll up to stand. From here, sweep the right leg behind you and over toward the left side of your mat. Inhale, raise your arms overhead, grab onto your left wrist or your right wrist with the left hand, and begin to reach over to the left while the hips go to the right. Keeping the sternum pointed forward. Inhale, come back to center, lower the hands, place the hands on the hips, and then begin to draw the right knee into the chest. So right knee is pulled in, and then begin to make some big circles with the knee going in one direction. And then take your circles in the other direction. Last time, come back to your mountain pose, and we'll do that on the other side. So left leg will sweep behind you and over toward the right side of the mat. Inhale, raise the arms, grab onto the left wrist with the right hand. And then lean over to the right while sending the hips to the left. Chest is pointing forward. Last inhale. Exhale, come back to center, lower the hands. Begin to pull the left knee into the chest, hands at the hips, and make your big circles with the left knee. And then going the other direction. And then come back to your mountain pose. Feet can be hip width apart or together. Inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, lower the hands down, clasp the hands behind your back, aim the hands toward the floor, and point the chest upward toward the ceiling. Opening up the shoulders and the chest. Take a few breaths here. Last inhale. Exhale, keep the hands clasped and fold forward. Bend the knees as much as you need and let the hands just naturally fall forward. Let them land where they land. Breathing here. Slowly release the hands, lower them to the ground. From here, remaining in your forward fold, walk the hands as far over to the left as you can, staying in that folded position. Breathe here. Last inhale. Exhale, return to center. Inhale, walk the hands over to the right side of the mat, staying in your forward fold. Breathing deeply. Last inhale. Exhale, come back to center, plant the hands down on the ground, step back to downward facing dog. We'll take a breath here. And then from here, bend the knees, come into a tabletop position, and then begin to lower all the way down to the ground. Place the forearms on the mat with the elbows just slightly in front of the shoulders, coming into Sphinx position. Press the forearms into the ground to lift the chest and pull it forward. Head is neutral, maybe chin is even slightly tucked. Pulling the ears away from the shoulders. Take a few breaths here. From here, bend the left knee, reach back with the left hand, right forearm is parallel with the top of the mat, and then begin to pull the foot towards the floor for a quad stretch. If you want to, you can go ahead and flip your grip so that fingers are grasping the toes, pointing forward. Breathing here. One last inhale. Exhale, slowly release the foot, lower it to the floor. Come back to your Sphinx pose, and we'll prepare to do that on the other side. So bend the right knee, reach back with the right hand, left arm is parallel with the top of the mat. Pulling the foot towards the floor, maybe flipping your grip if that's good for you. Hopefully you're feeling this in the top of the thigh. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly release the foot back down to the ground. Return to Sphinx. Take a breath here. Exhale, send the elbows out to the sides. Stack the palms, rest the forehead down on the hands, and then just let the hips go from side to side. Last inhale. And on your exhale, press yourself back into your tabletop position, and we'll move into a pigeon pose. So to come into pigeon from here, take the right knee, place it behind the right wrist, and then kick the foot out so that it's between the left hand and the left hip. Send the left leg down the mat. If your right hip is not coming into contact with the floor, you can place a block or a rolled up towel underneath the hip. So take an inhale here. On your exhale, fold forward to the place that feels good for you, feeling a stretch in the right hip. And we'll be here for a few breaths. Last inhale. Exhale, go ahead and lift the chest. Press the hands into the floor, return to your tabletop position. And then we'll do that on the other side. So to come into your pigeon, take your left knee, place it behind the left wrist, kick the foot out so that it's between the right hand and right hip, and then send the right leg down the mat. Remember, you can place a block or a rolled up towel underneath your left hip if it is not coming into contact with the floor. From here, inhale, and then exhale, fold any amount over the left leg. And we'll be here for a few breaths. Last inhale. Exhale, lift the chest. Roll back onto that left hip and pull the right leg around in front of you so that you're now in a seated position. Go ahead and roll down to a reclined position. Take the left leg down the mat long. Pull the right knee into the chest, and then begin making some circles with the right foot. And then circles in the other direction. And then moving into half happy baby, let the right thigh slide to the outside of your torso. Aim the sole of the foot towards the ceiling and then grab onto the outside edge of the foot with the right hand. Pulling down on the foot and just letting the thigh fall toward the outside of the torso. Breathing here. Last inhale. Exhale, return to having the knee pulled into the chest, holding on to the shin. Take the right arm out long to the side, and then with the left hand, pull the right knee across the body for a reclined twist. Head can gaze over at the right hand. Breathe deeply. Last inhale. Exhale, return to center. Send the right leg down the mat. Pull the left knee into the chest. And begin making circles with the left foot. And then make your circles in the other direction. And then to come into happy baby, let the left thigh fall to the outside of the torso. Send the sole of the foot toward the ceiling and grab onto the outside edge of the foot with the left hand. Breathing here. Last inhale. Exhale. Release the foot, pull the knee back into the chest. Take the left arm out long to the side, and with the right hand, pull the left knee over the body, coming into a reclined twist. Gaze can be over at the left hand. Last inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Send the left leg down the mat. Let the feet fall out to the sides. Arms are down by the sides, palms facing up. Send the shoulder blades down the back. Final resting pose. Letting the breath be natural. Maybe scanning from the bottom of the feet to the top of the head, noticing places where you're holding tension, and then allowing the floor to hold those places, giving yourself permission to release that tension. So this is where I will leave you today. Stay here as long as you need. Thank you for practicing with me.